Hello everybody. This brief video will walk you through how to turn in your stellarium assignments this semester. Rather than turning in hard copies of your work, instead you're going to be using D2L Brightspace quizzes to submit your results. I still recommend that you download the handout like you see on the screen. So once you scroll down, you'll find the actual work with instructions on how to get to the answers. Now go ahead and fill out the hard copy as if you're going to turn it in. And then once you're done, then go over to D2L Brightspace and enter the quiz option, transcribing your answers from the handout to the quiz. So just like any other quiz, it's going to ask you questions that will, for the most part, align with question numbers in your handout. Now I tried to put a brief description in text of the question that will hopefully allow you to map them back to the questions in the handout. If you're at all confused, please let me know and I will try and clear up the confusion before you submit. You will have to take the quiz in one setting and submit it all at one time. So the only other specific thing that you need to be aware is as you're going through the questions, just like you would ordinarily, there will be some in here that are short answer questions. So for question 3, which roughly corresponds to question 3 in your handout, to help you to align the questions or your answers with the proper question, I included the column and the row that will correspond to the row and column in the handout. The other thing you need to keep in mind is questions like number 3 are asking you to input a coordinate. Now these coordinates are going to be specified in degrees, minutes, and seconds. For the purposes of this quiz though, you could ignore the seconds and just include the degrees and the minutes. Now specified in here is the format that you must follow in order to get credit for a correct answer. If you use the wrong format, it will mark your answer wrong, even if the numbers are correct. So you must enter the values by putting the number and a D designated degrees, a space, and the number of minutes associated with your measurement. Now again, if you use any other method, then it will likely be marked incorrect, and make sure that you use all lowercase. Now there are other short answer type questions that do not require you to put in units. So just be careful as you read the instructions to follow any specifics that you have for formats that are required by the question. Now I'm going to skip down to number 10 here. And specifically I'm referring to number 10 of your handout. You see, at this point, the numbering is actually going to deviate a bit from what's in the handout, but hopefully, using this numbering, you'll be able to map them up with the corresponding question in the handout. And again, here we have rows and columns specified. So I've gone ahead and skipped down to handout number 10, which corresponds to question number 31. And I'm looking here specifically at row 1, column 1. And so note that it's asking you to enter a time. And so in a manner similar to entering coordinates, you're going to use a very specific format for entering the time. You are supposed to enter your time in any of the formats specified, including hour, hour, colon, minute, minute. So for 11:59 a.m., I can enter it this way, or I can just use military time and do it without the AM or the PM as well. Now if you have a single digit time, say it is 7:30, I can enter it in numerous ways, either military time with a leading 0 or without the leading 0. I can do it with the colon or without the colon, and with the AM or without. When you start to get to numbers that are after noon, those would be numbers larger than 12 in military time. So for example, 1 p.m. would be 1300 hours, Or near midnight, it's going to be, say, 11 p.m. would be 2300 hours. And again, I can use those with or without the semicolon. So as you go through and do the subsequent stellarium assignments, there will also be numerous short answer questions that don't involve coordinates or times. Just make sure that you keep your answers brief and that you do not use all caps. Again, we're doing this in lieu of turning in the results by hand through hard copies, and hopefully it will be a much more quick and pleasant grading experience for you. If you have any questions about this method, please do not hesitate to contact me.